Hey guys, it's Dave from the Dadadvice channel. If it's your first time joining us, it is a channel where we learn and grow together and teach our children through our own experiences. Wanted to chat about parenting and the benefits of reading to your kids. Um, this is based upon some science, some of my own experience with our youngest son, or with our oldest son, Alex. He just turned 6, and I feel like he's reading, and his language comprehension is just way above at a third grade level or a fourth grade level when he is the youngest kid in his first grade class. Um, and in addition, just feel like he's going to be a better reader than me in about a year. But I don't know if that says more about him or more about how I'm a terrible reader. Um, but we have read 1 to 2 books a night with him for about for his entire life. Um, and I wanted to touch on the science, and I'm going to do a big shout out to Jeremy Guida, who, when I was an early dad, he recommended a book to read for me that was all based upon science and not hearsay or myths or this is what my gut tells me. And it was called Brain Rules for Babies. And I'll leave a link down below, um, but by John Medina. I don't know if I just said that, but it basically said, hey, read to your kids, and the more you read to your kids, science says that they're going to develop language and they're going to develop vocabulary, and it just makes them smarter kids. So I just rocked that. So thanks, Jer. Um, and I looked up some just research on the internet to counterbalance, so it was multiple sources. And one of the things that I found that Ph.D. National Institute of Health doctor, don't remember his name, I'll put it down in the notes, um, said the more you interact, and this just mirrors what the book says, the more you interact verbally with your kids, whether it's speaking to them and having conversations or it's reading, um, the better they're better. It's gonna rewire their brain, and the better they're gonna be able to comprehend things. Um, and it showed like it talked about images of the brain, and the ones that were getting read to or just listening to a bunch of different words from their parents via conversations um, had a lot more brain activity. Um, and it also said, even if you haven't been doing this, and kids that could be caught up to those other kids, if they were read to for 8 week period for 2 hours a day, which sounds like a ton to me, their brain activity showed the same as those that had been reading over a period of time. So it sounds like even if you didn't do this, you can catch up. Um, the other thing that I thought was interesting, that there was a different piece of research, was about that the rewiring of the brain also made it easier for kids to master a different language. And I've noticed this with Alex. He has a comprehension of jokes and of other stuff that feels like it's way adult level. I'm like, how the heck did he know that? Um, and his just vocabulary is exploded. Um, but and on the last note is that reading to your kids, and this wasn't really science based, um, was could create different conversations with the books, which I know I've had in my experience with Alex, where we talk about some funny thing in some book, like a Berenstein Bears book, and we make jokes about it. But you're also, when you're reading to your kids in the evening, you're creating a relationship with reading uh, that they relate to as something that's good and something that they're comfortable with. So later on in life, uh, that's always something they can go back to, and they're not thinking of reading stinks and it's not fun. They're thinking of it, hey, this was the thing where I snuggled up with mom and dad. So you're creating an emotional relationship that's good to reading, which is great. As we've heard the saying, uh, readers are leaders. The last thing I wanted to put out there, and I'll put some resources down in the notes, but I thought it would be fun. I picked out a bunch of books that I think are rock star books. As a parent, if you're reading the same book over and over and over again, if you're not enjoying that book, I mean, it's not fun. So I found some books that I was like, man, I could read these books over and over and over, and I'll hear my wife reading them to Alex and Ben, and I'm like, I just love them. So I actually picked out a bunch of books, and I'll put them down in the description. But those are some rock star books. If you just are like, hey, I need some really good books. Each one of these, awesome. Um, there's a lot of Berenstain Bears books there. The Donut Chef, Chicka Chicka Choo Choo. But there are some books that I'm like, wow, this book was terrible. I don't even know what's going on in this book. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't rhyme. Um, so also, the books need to be enjoyable for you want to have that special time with your kids. I hope that helps. If it did, definitely share this with another parent that you think might help. Definitely check out these books. I'll put links to the books in the YouTube description. If you haven't read some of these books and you have kids that are, you know, most of these are still good up to 6. Every now and then, I'll still read The Donut Chef with Alex, and that's a great one. Um, and now he's reading books to me, and he's cross reading and reading books to Benny, so I can kill two birds with one stone. But again, hope that helps. Guys, subscribe to my channel, and if you have something else that works really well, or you got some additions to the books that I have over here, definitely even leave them in the comments. I really appreciate it, guys. Love you, and I'll see you later.